A city of imperial palaces, secret canals, white nights. But what are the absolute must-see experiences in St. Petersburg? I open on golden hour aerials, the Neva catching light like polished silver domes, glowing bridges lifting. This place is cinematic in every sense. The Hermitage hits you the moment you step off Palace Square into that cavernous, breath-stealing entrance. The grand staircase swallowed sound, footsteps gone, replaced by a hush like a movie set gone still. Every turned corner felt like walking into someone else's dream. The collection is jaw-dropping. It's about scale, rooms stacked with paintings, porcelain, imperial leftovers. If you only visit one room, make it the picture gallery. Raphael rooms. Don't rush the small Hermitage rooms, their ceilings and intimate details. My tip: arrive right at opening, or book the early access tour. The light through those tall windows in the morning is everything for handheld footage and fewer crowds. Walk slowly, let the walls narrate. You'll pick up threads linking Catherine the Great's ambitions to the palace's later chapters. There's a practical rhythm here, a map, a plan, and an openness to get lost. Follow the tour of halls that lead from strict imperial ceremony to private apartments. Peterhof is the cinematic contrast you need after museums. It's movement and water and a coastline of Baroque gardens that explode into gold. The sound here is half the story. Water hitting basins, jets hissing, visitors laughing under the spray. The visual is the other half. Rows of fountains marching down the formal axes toward the Gulf of Finland, gilded sculptures catching sun like little beacons. You can stand in the upper garden and watch geometry and water choreography play out for decades. The sensory detail is immediate. The cool mist on your face as a cascade falls. The smell of wet stone warmed by sunlight. The rhythmic clack of pathways underfoot. Take the hydrofoil from the city. It's fast, it's scenic. Palace fronts rising like a stage set as you get closer. Timing matters. Mid-morning light gives depth. Late afternoon gives warmth and longer shadows for cinematic footage. Don't miss the Grand Cascade and the Samson Fountain. They're the emotional center of Peterhof. Walk the side paths too. The quieter pavilions and seaside viewpoints reward patience and give you those postcard frames without the crowds. This church looks like it walked out of a storybook and decided to park itself beside a canal onion domes, painted in impossible colors, intricate patterns that shout at you from the skyline. Inside, it's an inversion. Exterior's flamboyant. The interior is a mosaic universe, floor-to-ceiling scenes of millions of tiny tesserae snapping light in 1,000 directions. I leaned close to see the grain of individual tiles, feeling ridiculous gratitude for human patience. The name hooks you. Built on the site of a political assassination, the church is a memorial, a riot of art. The history gives the mosaics weight, more than decoration, a public act of remembrance polished into gold and glass. Photographing here is about respect and tiny details, faces, hands, pattern intersections. Practical note: light is controlled tripod allowed in certain areas, but check rules. Use a long lens to compress the domes, then a wide to capture scale. This place demands patience, in the best way. Nevsky Prospect is where St. Petersburg breathes loud, a boulevard threaded with cafes, shops, the city's social pulse. Walk it and you'll see layers, 19th century facades, neon signs and shopfront lights, street musicians, people living their lives on the pavement. I like beginning at Gostiny Dvor, then walking toward the Neva. That route gives you architecture, side streets, a natural sequence of people watching. Stop at a coffee shop, sit at a corner table, you'll learn things guidebooks don't. The rhythm of the morning commute, the cadence of lunchtime crowds, the slow drift of twilight shoppers. The architecture is cinematic. Baroque details, Soviet-era blocks, angles stacking into contrast. If you're filming, slow tracking shots along the pavement, tight handheld moments at crosswalks. Recommended route: Kazan Cathedral, Anichkov Bridge, detour into side lanes, courtyards, hidden courtyards. It's a living set, unpredictable, Loud, completely worth leaning into. Catherine Palace is rococo on cinematic steroid ceilings, so ornate you'll tilt your head back until your neck protests gilding that reads like concentrated light corridors that loop into private wings of incredible detail. The Amber Room is the mythic stop panels of amber and gold that once vanished and came back via decades-long restoration. Standing in the glow of its faux sunset amber is one of those slow moments that anchors a trip pieces lost in war, painstaking reconstructions the modern team who resurrected the room's voice. That narrative adds a human thread to the shimmer. What we make, what we lose, what we rebuild. For filming, capture the room's warm palette and the slow movement of visitors. The Amber Room rewards slow, reverent shots that linger outside. The park unfolds in measured geometry and reflective ponds that double the palace in quiet water. The sensory memory here is about warmth and detail, the way sunlight hits carved cornices, and how history is made tactile through hand-carved ornament. St. Isaac's Cathedral sits like a statement on the skyline, a colossal dome you notice from blocks away, and a sense of gravitational pull drawing you toward it. Inside, the opulence reads like a compendium of stone, marble, and painted heaven. Outside, climb the colonnade, and the city opens in rings, rooftops, canals, the Neva slicing through like a silver thread. The contrast between the intimate, gilded interior and that broad skyline vantage is what makes St. Isaac's both a sanctuary and a lookout. For filmmakers, the colonnade at sunset is gold, the city's horizontal lines melting into warm light and casting long cinematic shadows. Inside, capture texture, the veining of marble, the glint of icons, the hush of voices. There's a physicality to this site, heavy doors, thick walls. Practical tip: the ascent to the dome involves a spiral and a ticket. Go at dusk if you want city lights to start popping as the sun fades. You get both the interior's hush and the skyline's revelation in one visit. Chapter 7. The White Nights are the city's emotional amplifier, a stretch of time where twilight stretches into a kind of public dream. The city trades its nocturnal hush for music, dance, spontaneous nightlife. You'll find open-air concerts, midnight museum hours, and people camping out in parks as if the whole city collectively decided to stay awake. I remember one night of slow, orange light and a string quartet playing on a riverside pier. It felt like a private performance that spilled into the street. If you want my recommendation, seek out the classical concerts and the outdoor stages in Palace Square. The atmosphere is celebratory but intimate. Couples walking hand-in-hand, groups of friends sharing bottles, and street performers filling gaps with impromptu magic. For footage, long exposure cityscapes and handheld close-ups of faces under that soft, endless light are gold. Timing matters. Check festival schedules for flagship performances, but also leave room for serendipity. The White Nights are less a calendar event and more a mood you step into, where every park bench and quay has a story waiting. Chapter 8. A canal boat tour is how you see St. Petersburg like an insider. Low and intimate, threading between facades under bridges and past courtyard entrances that feel secret when viewed from water. Boats give you a compositional advantage. Reflections double the architecture, bridges, frame faces, and the rhythm of passing columns builds cinematic patterns. Sunrise or sunset is when canals are at their quietest and most photogenic. I recommend the smaller boats that slip into the narrower channels. They smell faintly of river and diesel and opportunity. Practice a few camera moves. Slow lateral pans for facades tight, low-angle shots of waterline reflections, and a steady close-up of hands on the rail to humanize the ride. The hidden courtyards you glimpse from water often become places you want to explore on foot later. There's a meditative quality to canal time. The city slows, worn stone steps, laundry lines, small gardens tucked behind iron gates. It's a short cinematic escape in the middle of a walkable city. Chapter 9. The Mariinsky is where St. Petersburg's artistic pulse becomes a live performance. Pristine ballet technique, operatic swells, an interior that whispers old-world glamour. Walking into the foyer, you feel the weight of history, a stage that launched careers and framed cultural moments for centuries. The sound here registers in your chest, the lights in your memory. If you can, see a ballet performance. Tchaikovsky's works feel at home here, and a single act can leave you stunned by precision and emotion. Practical tip: cheaper seats still provide the experience. Buy in advance for popular runs, or consider a standing or last-minute ticket if you're flexible. Film-wise, capture the exterior at twilight. Shoot the foyer to set context, then let the performance be the story. Avoid distracting crew lights or invasive gear. The Mariinsky is the city's cultural heartbeat. Attending a show gives you a sense of continuity. Art performed where it has always mattered, to audiences who still show up. Chapter 10. The Peter and Paul Fortress is the foundation story of St. Petersburg, literal walls by the river that mark where the city began, and a cathedral that houses imperial tombs, like a timeline carved in stone. Walking the ramparts gives you perspective. The Neva on one side, the city unfurling on the other, and a sense of how this place was both strategic and symbolic from day one. The fortress has an austere beauty that contrasts the city's Baroque pleasures. The cathedral's spire punctures the skyline, and inside the crypts hold an intimate, almost heavy quiet as you pass the tombs of Romanovs who shaped centuries. There's a contemplative hush here that invites reflection on the arc of history, how empires are built, represented, and remembered. For filming, use the fortress walls as a frame and capture the cathedral spire in silhouette at sunrise. End your fortress visit with a slow walk along the Neva, watching boats and people, and realizing this city began as an idea in river and marsh, and became a stage for history. It's a place to pause and think about origins. I started this video with a promise: 10 things in 8 minutes. But what I actually want you to take away is something softer. A permission to be moved. St. Petersburg is built for big gestures. Gilded halls, soaring domes, fountains that choreograph water like music. But its real power comes in small moments. A terrace at dusk, a mosaic detail underhand, a stranger's laughter echoing across a bridge. Travel is often reduced to checklists, but the best itineraries are emotional maps. Take the practical tips, visit the must-sees, but leave space for the unexpected. Walk the canals at sunrise, get lost in courtyards, buy a ticket to a late-night concert, and let the city do the rest. I promise you'll come away with photographs, but also stories you'll tell with a different kind of light in your voice. St. Petersburg isn't just a destination. It's an experience you'll never forget. If you enjoyed this guide, like, subscribe, and drop your own must-see spots in the comments. I read them all.